Okay, now, Chief Executive Officer of the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority has revealed that SADA has embarked on a master planning exercise that will not only deal with rural agriculture problems of the Savannah zone, but also deal with urban infrastructure planning in the SADA zone. The aim of the exercise is to plan the 5 regions under SADA project to check congestion. I'll bring you that report after this. Don't go away.
A stakeholder coordinating committee is an advisory authority. The meeting brought together diverse groups of people from the 5 SADA regions named Northern, Bono Ahafo, and Volta regions. Opening the meeting, Upper West Regional Minister Amin Amidu Suleimani stated that the greatest challenge faced by SADA is ignorance of the people and the law that sets up the agency.
SADA is supposed to facilitate and make investment opportunities available for people who want to move to the SADA zone to help. Don't let us see SADA as an agency that has been given money to do things and they are not doing. Please, that is the issue. And I think that we need to educate ourselves very, very well on the role of SADA.
Chief Executive Officer of SADA, Charles Abugri, speaking on programs and projects that will be undertaken by the agency, he revealed plans are far afoot to have a master plan for the SADA zone that will include the urban infrastructure planning needs. Charles Abugri called on MMDCEs to support the agency to achieve its objectives.
We are seeing acquisitions already happening, and I'm sure you know that. So commercial agriculture is picking up, the interest is growing. We need to do our planning and plan properly, and that planning also has to deal with comprehensive infrastructure planning. So we have embarked upon what we call a master planning exercise for the SADA zone, starting with rural agriculture base, but also dealing with urban infrastructure planning.
Some of the participants blamed the various land agencies, especially the Lands Commission, for the numerous land litigation that bedeviled the country and called on them to do their work diligently. Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
Now, Petroleum Minister Emmanuel Kofi Amabua has tasked the NPA to review its safety and training guidelines for filling stations. This was after he toured some of them with the National Petroleum Authority. Hannah Dame was with the team and filed the following report.
The purpose of the tour was to check if filling stations were adhering to all standards by the EPA and other regulatory bodies. The checklist included use of appropriate protective gear, signs of leakage, Ghana Standards Authority seals, presence of water in the underground fuel tanks, and fire extinguishers. At the Shell filling station at La in Accra, Chief Inspector at the MPA, Esther Anku, took the minister through the processes of biannual checks at the stations.
It's their responsibility to ensure that their employees are adequately trained and also adequately equipped to undertake their functions at the filling station.
The station scored almost 100%, but for the absence of training certificates for staffs and absence of protective gears. The Goyle filling station at 37, also in Accra, had not renewed their calibration certificate. It had expired for a month. Petroleum Minister Emmanuel Kofi said, despite the inspection, all regulatory bodies must meet to review the guidelines for effective operation.
The standard operating procedures for doing things at the stations must be in place. Training on a constant basis of employees. But clearly, these are lessons that we are all going to go back and look at and strengthen. And this is not something that we leave. We've given clear directives, working with the MPA, to go over a review of the entire inspection regime, to look at the integrity of our processes, and to also make sure that we really stress the issue of safety as we go forward.
Meanwhile, Chief Inspector at the MPA, Esther Anku, says her office will consider increasing both random and routine inspections.
We'll see if there are any learning points and whether we can revise our inspection regime to...
Possibly more than twice in a year?
Possibly more than twice in a year, and even maybe looking out for other things that currently we may be missing.
Hannah Odame for Joy News.
A directive by the Environmental Protection Agency against the siting of restaurants at fuel filling stations has been challenged by the National Petroleum Authority. Several fuel stations with adjoining restaurants have been shut down in an ongoing clampdown following the June 3 tragedy at the oil filling station here in Accra, which claimed scores of lives. The EPA's Deputy Executive Director, Ebenezer Ampa Sapong, on an inspection tour this week said restaurants cannot be paired with fuel stations.
Filling stations should not have sources of fire. It's a basic.
That you don't want any source of fire on the filling station?
It shouldn't be there. Given even the recent events where there was not even any restaurant or anything, this should, especially in these times, is not something that we should close our eyes.
A directive across the country, no source of fire at all around any filling station.
We would have to assess it, on case by case basis, but generally that would be a rule that we would push.
But the Chief Inspector at the National Petroleum Authority, Esther Anku, says restaurants can be allowed depending on the distance from the fuel pumps.
Worldwide, we have convenience shops, some have restaurants, but the critical thing is if they are adding these added facilities, the operations should be such that they do not interfere with the operations of the core business of the station, that is filling fuel. So if they are operating a restaurant, it should be sited such that it will not pose any direct thing.
So you don't mind if the distance from the restaurant to the pumps is far, it's acceptable?
If it's far and they're operating well, it could be allowed.
Now, there appears to be a break in the front of the pressure group Occupy Ghana. I'll tell you why. This is because leading members of the group have just this morning announced the formation of what they call the Citizen Ghana Movement. In a statement on Facebook, they insisted that this new movement is a completely different entity from Occupy Ghana. The new movement, they say, is open to all Ghanaians from different walks of life. Joining me now in the studio is Judge Kofi Anti, who has been one of the public faces of Occupy Ghana. This is all confusing, so I'll go straight to George and tell us what is happening. What is happening to Occupy Ghana?
Occupy Ghana is working. It remains strong. But what has happened is that you would remember that on July 1st, it was 6 young people, of which I was a part, who ran the Occupy Flagstaff House under Concerned Ghanaians for Responsible Governance, that is CGRG. After 1st July, we moved on and then formed Occupy Ghana together with some others, and the idea behind Occupy Ghana was that it was supposed to be a movement that was to be owned by the people of Ghana. A movement doesn't belong to 1, 2, or 3 people, so it's supposed to be owned by the market woman, by the taxi driver, by the teacher, by the lawyer, the doctor, people from all walks of life. That is the vision that we had for forming Occupy Ghana. But that
I don't. You're telling me.
Well,
what changed?
It's not what changed. It is what didn't change. It is not what changed. It is what didn't change. We were hoping that we would expand. We are doing some great work. Please don't let no one feel that Occupy Ghana is dead.
But you kept saying that it should have been a movement for everybody, not owned by a few people. Suggestive of the fact
that we had
something went wrong.
We had not opened our doors to Ghana. That was a problem. So we were in there.
How do you mean when you say Occupy Ghana as you thought of it as a movement, did not open its doors along the line to Ghana?
Well, if you look at the work that we have been doing and the models that we have been using under Occupy Ghana for some time now, it has become more of a think tank of sorts. So we are doing forums, we are using litigation. All of these are very good, but at some point you need to use other means that resonate with the people. You know, the middle class have bought into Occupy Ghana. So
Occupy Ghana became too elite?
I wouldn't say that, but Occupy Ghana was not too open to the ordinary Ghanaian.
Okay.
So I would not say no, not that, but we're not too open to the ordinary Ghanaian. Ask me, how do you become a member of Occupy Ghana? You can say you belong to the movement, but are you a member? The members are only, I don't know, maybe 12, 13. That's not the vision we had.
Okay.
That is not the vision that we had. And you know, it gets to a point where you have to move on. We started from somewhere. All of this, it's about Ghana. It's for God and country. Mind you, if we have 100 civil society groups and they are all working at optimum level, Ghana is the better for it.
Okay. Now, so the concerned Ghanaians for responsible governance, we started the Occupy Flagstaff House campaign or hashtag, is broken away to form the Citizen Ghana movement.
We have gone back to our roots and we have rebranded. So now that same CGRG is now called Citizen Ghana movement.
Does Occupy Ghana still exist?
Yes, it does.
And run by who?
The faces that we know. I mean, you know the faces that have been out as Occupy Ghana. Look, we are part of the Occupy Ghana movement. In our minds and in our hearts, it's a movement. It doesn't belong to anybody. So I will tell you, I'm part of Occupy Ghana. Everybody you see in Citizen Ghana movement is part of Occupy Ghana. You are part of Occupy Ghana if you believe in good governance. Everybody is part of Occupy Ghana.
It's a lot confusing because then Occupy Ghana at the beginning of the conversation you say has not opened its doors to the ordinary Ghanaian, as for lack of a better word. But now you say that everybody else, every citizen, every member of the Citizen Ghana movement, which is the new group, is still a member of Occupy Ghana. But yes, what you know, I'm picking up. Okay. I'm picking up that, you know, all of this is happening because of some sort of one, power struggle. Two, the other being some leading members got into politics, specifically George Anda, which gave Occupy Ghana, the group, some sort of political colors. And so it's time that those who felt, first of all, their voices were not being heard, and second, thought that the political color wouldn't help the group to break away. That's what is happening?
Okay, you've mentioned two issues. One, power struggle. Two, Mr. Anda and partisan politics. Let's start with power struggle. The movement belongs to the people of Ghana. It's the people of Ghana who have power.
But a few people then became members, like you mentioned, 12 or 13?
Yeah, so those people becoming members and the market woman, the kayayo, the trader, the doctor, teacher, lawyer, not being able to feel a part. When you own something, you feel you own something, you work more for it, you know. So you go to Occupy Ghana's Facebook page. I'm just using this, you know, to make a point. And somebody would ask a question, how do I become a member? The response of the group might be, we are rolling out plans, you know, for membership. And then the gentleman will come back and tell you, well, whether you like me or you don't like me, I'm part of Occupy Ghana. So, and that is the message. So power struggle, I don't know about that, but I think it's more of the ownership, the absence or lack of ownership.
So there's no break in the front of Occupy Ghana now, because some of you are moving away to form a group which you tell us.
No, we are not forming. CGRG was formed in June 2014.
But you're still moving to join another group which you have rebranded as CGRG.
Yes, we are simply going back to our roots, and we are running with a vision we began all of this with. Yes.
But Occupy Ghana will still exist.
Yes.
How different is this one from Occupy Ghana as we have known it?
Well, like I started off from the beginning, the plan was to create a movement. The movement is supposed to be owned by the people of Ghana. Yes, there will be some faces, some voices out there speaking, but what we are doing is to provide a voice for the voiceless. You must be able to have your message resonating with the people on the ground. It is very good what Occupy Ghana has been doing up till this point. We are attacking the institutions, but now we want to work with the people too.
Let's tackle the second bit of what I deduce from
Mr.
all
Anda?
of this. Yes.
Okay. Personally, I don't like discussing individuals, but let's put it in perspective. We are a non-partisan group. Right from day one, that's what we have been. From CGRG through Occupy Ghana, now we're back to CGRG, Citizen Ghana Movement. Now, we have not said that politicians cannot join the group. We have never said that. We all vote. You vote, I vote. The Supreme Court judges all vote, you know. But what we have always said is, if it's a national discussion we are having, let's move it beyond partisan politics, because we don't get solutions that way. It's always you did worse than I did. It's a race to the bottom. So Mr. Anda deciding to move to the NPP and declare openly that he wants to contest for primaries, that was his decision. It was his decision, and it had no bearing whatsoever on the group. What we did at Occupy Ghana was to even put out a press release that we're going to hold him.
Or did it not play a role in this decision to go back to your roots?
Oh no! I mean, an individual deciding he's going to run for office on the ticket of
not his decision, but the effect on Occupy Ghana, the effect it had on Occupy Ghana. That's okay. So it's true, after all, you do have some you're tainted with political colors.
I'll be honest with you. From the bottom of my heart, I do not believe it had any negative effect on Occupy Ghana.
And so it didn't,
because Mr. Anda is not Occupy Ghana.
Very well. Thank you very much, George. George Anti is with the group Citizen Ghana Movement. Yeah, you may have known him from the group Occupy Ghana. It's time now for some business stories. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Well, in business, energy analysts say the immediate solution to Ghana's energy crisis is for governments to deploy more gas-powered plants because they are cheap and clean. They also want a regasification plant to provide sustainable gas to the gas-fired plants, while other sources such as solar could be considered. Analysts say a well-mapped-out distribution process or source is essential for solving the power crisis.
The way forward is to build a regasification plant to power electricity. Now, this regasification plant has got to do with gas. He felt that gas was the best option as compared to coal and the other sources we're looking at. After hydro, he felt gas was the main thing. And in order to get the gas from the oil fields, for it to be turned into power, you need to build a regasification plant that would now convert that raw gas into gas to be used for electricity.
There are several energy mix. We've exhausted the significant one, which is hydropower. We need to look at others. We need to look at thermal energy, but basically being fired by gas, which is being considered. We also need to look at geothermal. We need to look at nuclear. We need to look at solar. All the energy mix, because it's very, very critical for us not to isolate, but we should look at those that will bring us the returns that will transform our economy at the least cost. Cost here, not just financial cost, but we're looking at environmental and social cost as well. So we should try to balance this energy mix and prioritize. But in so doing, we have to ensure that we develop a system whereby the energy we are bringing in go into highly productive sectors of the economy.
That's it for the segment. There's sports with Kwame Jumo. Don't go away.